My name is Joyce Okungbawa. I'm the founder of the DVALI, which is the Domestic Violence Assistance Line Initiative. And the initiative was born from when I sat back and I thought about my 17 years as a domestic violence victim. And I asked myself the question, what was the worst thing that happened that you felt during that time? And it was the isolation and the fact that I felt that there was nowhere for me to turn to, and the fact that I believed that nobody would believe what I was going through.
Domestic violence is an epidemic that seems to be on the uprise in society today. Both men and women can fall victims.
Nowadays you hear a lot about domestic violence. It's more prevalent now because of the influence of social media. You are more exposed to dastardly, drastic acts of domestic violence.
From the very first time you see the sign, even before you get married to a person, even in a relationship, it should not be ignored.
It's reaching a proportion of a plague, and it's a phenomenon that, yes, people don't often talk about.
Usually everybody's focusing on the physical aspect of domestic violence, but I think what one also needs to shed light on is the area of mental domestic violence.
I know 4 couples who've been married less than a year and the marriages have ended because of domestic violence. And it's not limited to domestic violence on the man's side. It's been both ways.
Men are also beginning to suffer domestic violence. And because this is a very patriarchal society, what you find is that they do not speak up.
I think the difference between the male and the female is, especially in a society like Nigeria, is when a man says he's being abused, people tend to laugh and find it funny. And so it's very hard with a male's ego to come out and say that a woman is abusing them. But with a woman tends to find more sympathy when she says she's being abused, and then so there's more tendency for a woman to come out and say she's a victim of domestic violence.
You know, society has this thing that the man is strong, and many a times you see the man as the aggressor.
We understand how isolated victims of abuse tend to be, and the feeling that no one understands what they are going through. We also understand that it is not easy to leave an abusive relationship for various reasons.
People will always say things. You may even be on the right side of the divide. People always still talk about you.
People are clouded by emotions, and people are clouded by what others would say. And nobody wants to start from the beginning. People have invested years, they've invested their time, they've invested their resources into making a relationship reach where it is. And they believe if they back out or if they voice it and it ends, then they've lost 5, 6, 7 years they put into it.
If you're a child, you're growing up and you see your father or your mother is abusive towards your father or vice versa, in your mind, you will probably grow up with that state of mind thinking it's the norm.
The person may look quiet on the outside, but deep down, there's always a struggle, there's always contention. So when opportunity arises, that thing just comes out.
Telltale signs are there from the initial stages. It's usually there. It's not something someone just, it's not. Even if it doesn't hit you, or she doesn't hit you, and you get to a situation where they raise their hand and they probably decide not to hit you, those are signs as well.
Anything that will lead to losing life is just not acceptable. It's just not proper.
This is not about shaming. This is not about belittling yourself. This is really about life, because the worst that can happen is death.
You know, if you're alive, you can make money. If you're alive, you can eat. If you're alive, there's hope.
The Domestic Violence Assistance Line Initiative offers confidential support and counseling to anyone affected by domestic violence.
You don't wait till you're killed or till you're maimed to do something about it. speak out.
I think you need to talk. Open up and tell whoever you're comfortable with.
Sometimes we heard when they say when you go to like a mental home or you go to Yaba, most of the women there, if you tell you their story, one way or the other will be linked to some form of abuse.
The strength lies in being able to speak.
An abuser thrives on silence. He thrives on the fact that you may not be able to speak up. And so my charge to people is, this platform, this DVALI platform, is to encourage you to speak up, to reach out to people that will hear you out, people that will support you, people that would help you leave or learn to live away from this abusive relationship.
Talking is 80% of the problem. So when you talk to somebody who relates to you, they can offer you good advice. If you do want to leave, we can offer you a support system that will help you to leave. And if you want to stay, that's fine as well. We're just here to help and to provide encouraging words, and more importantly, to listen and to believe in what you're going through.
More awareness should be given to such initiatives, and women, men, whoever is in a domestic violence situation should go to them, get counseling, get encouragement on how to be better, develop yourself, speak out.
If you see something, say something.
We provide immediate support to anyone affected by domestic violence with our confidential helpline. We organize seminars, workshops, and motivational programs for both victims and survivors of domestic violence. We do all this in an atmosphere where the victims and survivors can thrive and heal from the effect of abuse and violence.